the thing that I would most want myself to know, you know, getting that rejection is that if you get a rejection or negative feedback, it doesn't reflect on your worth as a person. I'm glad that like all of us seem to agree that there is luck involved. You know, we can all give tips on how to punch up your application or make it as good as it can be. But at the end of the day, there will be things that are beyond your control. You know, take COVID, for example. Think of how many research projects that derailed completely, you know, across all disciplines. There are tons of mini environmental conditions and social conditions and political conditions that derail the fit of a person and a project and the environment around them for any number of reasons. Another thing to say is that, you know, rejection sometimes, even though you're never quite allowed to say it, especially in your right to reply, as Miles has pointed out, some people are wrong in their assessment, and that does happen sometimes. I had a Leverhulme early career fellow applicant who I thought was very strong at this university, who I wanted to support in their application, and they didn't make it past the first pass at Glasgow. They took the identical application to another university, and now they're a Leverhulme early career fellow at that university. It was a good application, but the feedback wasn't great. And that's not to say that I'm by no means saying that Glasgow's bad at making that assessment. Everyone's bad. You know, people are making incorrect assessments all the time purely because there is a huge quantity of high quality applications for a very small number of fellowships. And so it becomes very difficult to, you know, sort one excellent application from another, you know. And so, you know, all of these bits of advice should, I guess, be taken with that in mind. And hopefully that is a long-winded way of saying you shouldn't take that rejection or negative feedback too personally. Learn what you can from it, but you know, pay attention to it only insofar as it's constructive and useful to you, and yeah, and don't take it as an estimation of your abilities as an academic or your value as a person.
And that, you know, and that's the importance of engaging with the kind of pre-submission review process for us, in that that's a space where you will get a lot of rejection, and we encourage you to get as many eyes on your application in as many draft forms as possible, and do all of that in a space that is giving you formative feedback, where it's giving you, you know, varying viewpoints from lay people and from people in your specialist subject who know things inside out or don't know anything at all, or who are looking at very specific elements of it. So when I look at something, I'm not looking at it as an academic, but I'm looking at it as a lay person from you know, a completely different field, who is thinking about your structuring and the clarity of your narrative, and you know, do your resources really match up? Have you built your team in a way that is gender balanced, or you know, have you thought about all the different other resources and assets that the university has that will help you build that picture of the environment being the perfect fit for you to do this kind of work? There are lots of different things I'm looking at that somebody in a subject area might not be focused on. They might be focused on the academic content of it, and is your methodology right? And that's not what I'm about. But you know, that formative feedback then gives you lots of different perspectives. You can have a think through as to what actually, you know, you feel you want to take on board, and then also reason out why you don't want to take other things on board, as you then set out the thing that you believe in to take that to the funder, where your rejection will be a yes or no, and you might get some feedback that may be of value or not, but not to the level and the detail that you'll get along the way to submission. So it's really important for us that people engage as often as possible with that entire process all the way through.